Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the MDS Basic videos. So we're going to just continue going right down the line. Last time we talked about background papers, and so today we're going to talk about photos. Now, on this page I've got two photos, this bigger one and this little one. So let's go through some of the different ways we can get photos on our pages. So let's open up our pretty backgrounds we have from last time. And first I'm going to show you how to get photos from the Design Center. So if you open this up, you can click on Add Photo and just go navigate to wherever your photos are on your computer, and you can say Open, and it will bring that photo in for you. Now, when you bring them in this way, you can double click on them and then crop it as you want and say OK, and then you can also make them bigger by grabbing the corners. So that's method one to get a photo in. However, the one thing I'm going to say about when you add a photo this way is if you decide you want a different photo in that box, if you say delete, your whole photo disappears. Now I'm going to go ahead and undo that because I want the photo to stay there. But I want a way that if I have a layout set out, that I can delete a photo and put a different one in there without completely messing up my layout. So in that case, the second way you can do it is to actually add a photo box. When you do this method, you can size the photo to be the size that you want first. And then you can double click. You can go in and find which picture you want. Once again, say Open, and it will bring up this box, and you can kind of move it around and zoom in and then say OK. And once again, the great thing about it this time is if I decide that I wanted a different picture here, if I push delete, my photo box still stays there, and so I don't have to redo my layout in order to switch out pictures. Now, what are some other things we can do with photos? Well, we can put a mat on them, and you can change the size. Comes at a standard of 4. You can change the color. Pick Cherry Cobbler for this picture, and let's give this one not quite navy to match our paper strip down here. So those are photo mats. Now you can also do drop shadows. That's this drop shadow box, and you can play with all the standards like the opacity. If you look, you can see how it's becoming a different color here. You can change the blur so it makes it look like the picture's farther or closer. You can change the color of the shadow if you wanted. I'm going to go ahead and reset this to the default because the default is a really nice setting for pictures. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to throw one of those on this pen too. So those are some of the different things that you can do just nice and simply with your photos. Once again, there's this crop button, which is the same as going and double clicking on the picture like I did at the beginning. You can also nudge your photo over instead of going into it and moving it. You can use this nudge photo, and I can nudge it to the right or left and up and down. And you can zoom in and out right here. And you can also rotate your photos to the side if you had them in the wrong way to begin with. Or you can rotate them at whatever angle you want if you don't want to do a 90-degree rotation. There's also photo opacity. In this case, when I change the photo opacity, that mat's going to show through. But if I didn't have a mat, whatever was behind my photo, so in this case the background papers would show through. Couple more things down here at the bottom. You got some photo effects where you can make it like black and white, sepia, blue tones, red tones. You can brighten up the picture or darken it. Mirror, flip, blur, or sharpen. Just some very basic photo editing tools that you have here. You also got photo shapes. You can change it from square to rounded. And that is it for what I'm going to talk about here. I guess I'll do one more. And the replace button is another way to go ahead and say, I want to do this picture instead. And then you could say open, and it will bring up your other picture in there. But I want to leave it at that one. So some of the other things I consider to be more advanced and not basic functions with the photos. So we'll leave it there, at least for the Design Center. One of the other things I did want to point out, though, is you have your resource palette over here, too. So if I hadn't put this picture in yet, let's say, I could go, first of all, I would browse to it, the folder where my pictures are. And then I can find my picture just with these little tiny preview thumbnails. And what I can do is I can drag and drop it into my photo box. And it will bring me up to that same little dialog that I got by double clicking on the box earlier. Or if you want to add a picture, the same way we added this first one where it's not going to have a photo box, if you delete it, it goes away, you can just drag it onto the page as well. And that's also an option. But when you delete it, it goes bye-bye forever. So that is a quick crash course on photos in MDS. I hope you'll join me again when we move on to our next category, which is adding text. This is Swift Thinking. I hope you flutter by again soon. Bye.